Travel, love, cruise ships, whole bunch of buzzwords, but what does any of this mean to anyone who's new to the industry and has got no idea what they're walking into? Hoi Hoi Everyone, my name is Tara and welcome back to An Uncharted Life. Now, let me give you a little bit of background as to why I think I am an expert in this field. Now, I started working on cruise ships when I was 21. I started in the retail industry and then moved over to entertainment. I've worked on almost 3 different cruise lines: Royal Caribbean, Holland America Line, and Princess. So I know a thing or two about all the different cruise lines and what they offer and what they don't. And also, I've done this for about 6 years. Right now, I'm on my 8th contract. We don't talk about 2020 though, because that was the dark times. But anyway, I have seen a lot, done a lot, and been in this industry long enough to be able to actually give you a tip or two and help you out with regards to, figuring out if this is the route that you want to take. Do I recommend everybody at least trying a contract on a cruise ship once? Yes. It's an interesting experience and you learn a lot of things about yourself very quickly. But for those of you who are wanting to make it a long-term goal or a long-term career, like a lot of us have, here are some tips and tricks with regards to what you can look forward to on board a cruise ship. I do warn, and I give a disclaimer right now, I am from South Africa. That is a third world country. So some of the perks that I do have may not be the same for other folks. So please, all of the perks I'm about to give are from my own personal experience and from everything that I have gone through. Some of them may not relate to you or be of benefit to you, but these are the perks that I have found after about almost 6 years of my life dedicated to cruise ships. So I'm going to break this into 2 different categories. The first one being like the obvious perks that everybody knows, and then the out of the ordinary perks that come with this kind of work. So we're going to break it down into those 2 categories. Obviously, we're going to start off with the obvious perks. Now, number 1 is you get to travel and see a lot of places. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Asia, Singapore, Alaska. I've seen Panama Canal, Mexico. I've seen a lot of unique, interesting places. I've also seen some French Polynesian islands. I've seen a little bit of Fiji. I have seen a lot. Mediterranean as well, because a lot of the cruise ships do very common itineraries and they'll cycle through them the whole time. Depending on what season you're heading into will depend on what's available and where you're going to end up working. So sometimes you get super lucky. I've done Alaska about 3 times for 3 full seasons at this point in time. So I've been able to see a lot of Juneau, Skagway, Sitka and Ketchikan, and I pretty much know those places off by heart. I've also had one-time shots to certain places like Conflict Island, which is absolutely beautiful, and it's in a crossing all the way down to Australia. I've also only done Australia and New Zealand for 2 months, and I was super lucky, and I got to see one of my best friends in the whole wide world after 3 years of not seeing him, all the way in Auckland. So there are a lot of opportunities to travel and see stuff. Yes, you won't be able to get off in every port because you've come to work. You've got a job to do. That is the most important thing. If you want to keep traveling, you've got to keep doing your job. But otherwise, when you do get that time off and you can go exploring, it is amazing, it is wonderful, it is fantastic, and you get to see so much more, and you don't have to spend a dime to get there. Makes it a little less of a holiday because you are working, but you get to travel and see so many beautiful, amazing places that I never would have been able to have seen anyway. So that's perk number 1. Perk number 2. Now, this is more of an obvious one, and that is down to I get paid in a stronger currency. So on board, I'm getting paid in US dollars. If you look at the current exchange rate to the US dollar to the rand, it's been about steady at $1.17 rand. And that's how it's been most of my career. The US dollar has always been stronger than the rand. So I'm able to save a lot. Put a lot into different savings goals, investments, and I'm able to help out back home, send money back for whatever my family might need, and save up an emergency fund. I have been able to achieve quite a lot because of the fact that I'm being paid in a stronger currency. And this is the one that has got a bit of a caveat, because I know there are a lot of people who, like, they're going to get paid in the same currency that they're currently being paid in, or they might be getting a currency that is stronger than the US dollar. Because I do know there's a lot of Europeans on board that is a problem. There are also some, like, Canadians on board, for example, where the pay difference from, like, just the exchange isn't that great. But that is a perk if you are from a third world country like myself. Now, moving on to number 3. With number 2, the perk of number 2 being a stronger currency, I've been able to financially save and secure myself in a lot of ways that probably someone of my age has not been able to do. I get free room and board. So I do not have to pay for my accommodation, and I do not have to pay for the food that is provided to me on board. So if you wanted to go super frugal and not spend too much money, I promise you will end up spending money either way. You still need to buy your own toiletries. If you do want snacks and food, you will have to pay for that yourselves. So any gifts are also a massive way to spend money. But any gifts for yourself or for your family from all the unique destinations that you go to, you'll be spending money on that. But other than that, there's not much that you will spend your money on. You can actually save quite a bit of it. And I will link what I spent in a week video up here, just pretty much showing you, like, what I spent in a full week of Alaska. And it really wasn't that much. But I was able to pretty much save a lot of my incomes from the age of 21 all the way up to now, where I'm turning 28 in 2026. So I've been able to do quite a lot, invest a lot of my money, and that has been very good for my financial situation and my financial status, which has helped me. But also, I did have to learn, and I did spend a lot of money seeing a lot of places, and it is worth it. But the nice thing with the job is that because you don't have to worry about rent, you don't have to worry about food, you can save quite a bit of your actual salary. Number 4, career development. Now, coming into cruise ships, certain departments will need certain degrees. So if you want to be in the engine, the deck department, usually with the chefs as well, or the hotel side, they'll ask for, like, hotel management, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I had no degree. Still have no degree. When I leave cruise ships, I plan to get a degree. I have no idea what I want to study yet, but when I figure it out, this channel will be probably the first to know. But also, I've been able to save. These are one of the financial goals that I've been saving for when I decide to finally leave Neverland and grow up, aka the cruise ship industry. But I've been able to start as a sales associate in the retail department, work my way all the way up to manager, and then pivot. Because I got to retail manager, realized I didn't like the job, I didn't like what it all meant, and I went into entertainment. And now I'm starting at the bottom of the entertainment log, but there's still an opportunity for me to grow. I can become an activity manager, which is the next step up, go to cruise director, or once again, I can pivot and I can go into the entertainment administrative office, or if I really wanted to, I could go into shore excursion, I could go into guest services, and then there's a whole bunch of different opportunities to rise. Obviously, once I hit cruise director, if I wanted to, I could then maybe look at becoming assistant hotel general manager to get into the position of hotel general manager. So you are not limited with regards to career development. You just need to figure out where exactly you want to go. And that is the crazy cool thing about, like, being on a cruise ship. You can pivot plenty of times. And a lot of cruise ships, they'll offer secondary work where you can pretty much help out a different department and see if this is something that you would like to change to and become. So I know plenty of people who started off in the gallery and the chef department who now work at guest services and are in higher positions because they got trained to be a chef but realized they don't want to be working in that environment that long. I know other people who they started off in retail and they've gone over to be shore excursion managers. So there's a lot of opportunities that you can actually do, and career development that the world is your oyster. I've also met a lot of dancers who come on board, like dancers and singers who put on the performances, and they come on board and they go, well, this is all I'm good at. I'm good at singing. And then they end up becoming cruise directors, because guess what? Having a cruise director that can sing is really cool. Just don't expect that from me. But yeah, so the career development is really, really cool. And then the last one for this section of obvious perks, number 5, is you get to meet so many people from different nationalities. And I'm talking not just crew members, I'm also talking guests. Depending on obviously which department you work in, it will depend on how much guest interaction you do have and whether it's good or bad. But like for me, for example, I have a lot of positive guest interactions, and it is amazing. I've met people from Ireland, Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, a whole bunch of different countries in Asia, South America, and it's fascinating to meet people because, you know, you can actually then learn a little bit about all of the different countries that they come from and their history. And sometimes the guests are really, really nice. I will not say all guests are nice. Not all guests are made equal, but the ones that are an absolute amazing aspect to have, because they really, really do treat the crew with respect that they deserve, which is amazing and wonderful. Now, I'm gonna pivot. I feel like I'm literally Ross from the Friends right now with just saying pivot, pivot, pivot. But anyway, we're going to go to the out of the ordinary perks section right now. So these are still advantages to come into work on board, but they're not the things that you would think of at first glance. So number 7 is home is actually a holiday. So 90% of the time when you work on land, wherever it is, you will see your home as just pretty much the base of, okay, you wake up at 5 a.m. to get to work at 8 a.m. and then you work the whole day, and then 5 p.m. you clock out. By 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. you're back at home, and the cycle continues Monday to Friday. So then the weekends don't really feel like a weekend, they just feel like a recharge boost. But when you work on board, you're working non-stop 6 months at a time, maybe 4, depending on what your contract states, sometimes even maybe 9. So depending on which contracts you get will depend on what you end up doing. But that being said, because home is a holiday, and you're usually sometimes home for about 2 months if you work, usually it's a whatever amount of months and you get 2 months holiday, coming home is amazing because you are so excited to see family, so excited to spend time with them, and you're so excited to see friends that you haven't seen in forever. Yes, there's technology, there's WhatsApp calls, but time zones mess you up completely, and it is just great to be able to actually make a phone call and be like, hey, do you want to see each other this Saturday, or what are your plans? Because I want to see you, and that makes going home so amazing, and you get to see the beauty of your hometown every time you come home, because that is your indication that you have landed. You're back home. Your vacation has started, and you get to be surrounded by people you love. So home becomes the holiday, and you have a lot more appreciation for where you've grown up. Number 8, you are always learning. Cruise ships are always developing. They're always trying to keep up with the best health standards, the best environmental standards, the best service standards, and everything like that. You are also in an ever-changing tourism industry. So with that being said, the tourism industry has ebbed and flowed throughout the year. The last 10 years or so, they've been focusing a lot on the eco-friendly aspect. In 10 years from now, something else will happen, and then that'll change the whole spectrum of the tourism aspect. So you are going to have a lot of learning that you're always going to do. The company is going to come up with new products, new menus. Every time you climb back on board a cruise ship, you're going to feel like you're starting your new job all over again, even though you've done this 10,000 times, just because you are always going to be learning, always developing, and always becoming better at your craft. And the company is going to challenge you by saying, okay, cool, this got boring, let's do this. This isn't the direction we want to go into anymore, we want to go here. And that will keep you on your toes, because trust me, sometimes direction change is just like that. Okay, number 9 is that you will live a very unique lifestyle. Now, this can be a positive and a negative. I take it as a positive because yes, you're going to be away from the family for a very certain amount of time, but you are going to be able to achieve so much. There's a lot of personal growth that you will do from your first contract all the way up. Even if you do one contract, you yourself as a person will grow due to the unique lifestyle that you are in. And your unique lifestyle isn't something that everybody has ever gone through. You are choosing a unique career, and it comes with a lot of interesting, very different aspects. You're going to be living with people in cabins, or maybe not, depending on what rank you are. You're going to be interacting with a whole bunch of people of different nationalities on a daily basis that you will not always get in such a short time frame. Like in 1 week, you can meet up to 60, maybe 70 different nationalities on board a cruise ship, especially depending on where you're sailing from, or if it's a popular destination that a lot of people want to see. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and there's a lot of stuff that you will get the opportunity to do because of your unique lifestyle now. Number 10, there is a sense of community. Now, this will change on every ship, and depending on what kind of lifestyle you want to lead, it will change with every contract. I know one of my best contracts I've ever had is I don't like going to the bar. I'm not a drinker. I believe that you can have like a Sprite or a Pepsi or a Coke Zero and have a really good time and not need to get drunk, which makes me very different from a lot of the people on board. A lot of people do like the party lifestyle that is provided on board cruise ships, and that is why, for example, the crew parties on board are not a perk for me, but it might be a perk for someone else. But what is a perk for me is one of my best contracts was on Holland America Westerdam. We had a group of people that would meet up every Juno night, and we would do board game night. And we would bring, I remember we would bring Reese's, we would bring like chips, like there would be snacks galore. And then if we ever had a game of like Uno or whatever, and we wanted to up the stakes and everything like that, we would bet chocolates and all of that crazy stuff. It is hilarious how that kind of sense of community is something you thought you would only find back home, but you can find it on board with people from nationalities and different backgrounds to you that are just insane. Like, you can make best friends with someone who speaks only 5 words of English, and you can become like the bestest of friends by the end of the contract. And a lot of these people who I have spoken to and everything like that, I'm still in contact with them. So I've got literally friends from all over the world because of the communities that I've been able to build on board. And that is something that I think is super special, and really only something you're actually able to find while you're on board a cruise ship. And then moving on to my last and final one, I think we're on number 10. I haven't been 10, yes, number 10, sorry. And that is, you can find great friends and the love of your life. So I will link my boyfriend tag up here. I was lucky enough to be one of the few people who met their partner while they were on board a cruise ship. I am also saying this as someone who did date on board the cruise ships, and I've seen all the highs and lows that come with dating on board. It is not the easiest environment to find someone to date in. It's not the easiest environment to get to know someone, but there are times when you get super lucky and you can find the love of your life on board. Only problem is 90% of the time they're from a different country to you, so you're going to have to figure out where you need to live. But you can also find great friends. I have got friends who I'm still in contact with, and I haven't seen them since my first contract. Like, there are people who you just find, and because of the circumstances of you being on board a cruise ship, you find your tribe. And yes, it sucks because your tribe is scattered all over the world, but your tribe is your tribe, and there are a lot of people who I know, if I could give a phone call right now and say, hey, I'm in trouble, I need help, they would probably hop onto a plane and they would come get my sorry butt out of here. So that is kind of the best part about also being on board a cruise ship. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into my video. This is just 10 items, 10 things that I think are perks that you need to consider when you are applying for a job, or if you are thinking of applying for a job on board a cruise ship, or if you were just curious as to what we crew members think are the perks on board. Now please take into consideration, these are all my personal opinions. None of this is set in stone. A lot of people may not find any of this information useful or helpful, and I understand that. If you are a crew member who has worked on ships before, let me know in the comments below what the biggest perk has been for you. If you have any questions, pop them down below as well. I'll see how I am able to help you. If I'm not able to help you, I can probably find someone on board who can, because there is about 1,200 of us on board the beautiful Sapphire Princess right now, and I'm sure I can find someone with the knowledge and the power to figure something out for me to answer your questions. But otherwise, this is Tara from An Uncharted Life. Thank you for joining me for the highs, the lows, and everything between. Have a fantastic day, guys, and Merry Christmas. Bye!